We are, of course, into Champion Select, and we'll see exactly what's going to be picked up and taken away. Maokai going to be banned first here, so Cola not going to see that champion. Not going to worry about his Gnar just yet. And RNG, of course, with the first pick, are going to be able to possibly take that one away. And Hecarim gone as well. Cola getting a whole lot of focus.
Yeah, given that they have the first pick, that might be telling us they're looking to actually take away a top laner with that first pick. And Kalista being banned again has seen about an 88% ban rate so far.
My goodness.
Since the start of this split. So a big focus from all teams to get that out of the way, and the Azir and the Blanc follow.
Yeah, Cassiopeia still around here as well. They've removed Azir from the board. Not going to be seeing that matchup, but the Snake Lady still possibly able to be picked up. And we'll see whether King are going to remove that or whether Xiaohu's going to pick that one up. There's the Rek'Sai ban. Very understandable. But Alistair's still up. There's a lot of picks here. Gragas is there. We've got Sejuani on the table as well. Gnar is a massive high priority at the moment, considering the fact that the rest of the top lane pool does seem to be diminishing just a little bit. But it looks like MLXG wants to pick up the Gragas. And I like this because he can have some more early game power.
Yeah, there's going to be the option of, or there's no Rek'Sai available firstly. So all of the strong three in the jungle with the Sejuani or the Nunu being the other one, they don't have the early pressure that you can get from the Gragas. And straight away, the Gnar and Alistar hover make perfect sense. We're seeing them in every game.
Yeah, it is very understandable. We'll see whether Sky's going to go back to the Aurelia here. There's not a whole lot of other options around. We have seen Aurelia played already, Long already picking that one up. Not necessarily to great success, but is still around, still a possibility.
Yeah, you've got the Rumble as well for the top lane.
That's true.
So Rumble and Aurelia are the two most often seen. Otherwise, he could mix it up. We have seen some weird top laners lately. The Fizz, perhaps.
Yeah, that's true. And is Fizz considered a decent matchup into the Gnar? I could imagine that Gnar would probably be absolutely fine. Of course, mini Gnar, very frustrating. Bit of a lane bully there at the same time. Xiaohu thinking about a Lucian, and this may not necessarily be going over to Whoosh. This could be a mid lane Lucian.
Yeah, it could be the mid lane Lucian, but I wouldn't really count that just yet. It does seem likely that the Lucian will be the bot laner, and it's not too bad into the Sivir matchup, which, by the way, is being picked in the fourth rotation.
That's crazy.
Not prioritized at all. The Kalista seemingly always prioritized over the Sivir, who just gets through the pick and ban for the most part, and is in it almost every game. 17-5, I think, up until today.
Yeah, I believe so. 17-5, 17-4, something like that. Very, very strong. MLXG was hovering the Fizz. Of course, that can go in the mid lane or the top lane. And Liam considering the Bard. And we haven't really seen that much of a skyrocket of Bard play just yet, but he has been seeing a little bit more play, especially internationally. The LCK region showing that Bard is a very, very powerful pick. And they're thinking instead maybe picking away the Morgana, and I just don't know about that. I feel like the Bard would be a fun choice.
I feel like you just want the Bard to be there for a fun choice.
But
for better or worse, Bard is impactful. Morgana and I guess Janna now is a safe version of impact that isn't the offensive capabilities of the Bard, but still going to be very relevant. And now they've got the Lulu with that Janna. They've got a lot of shields and protection around the Fizz, who might be going damage because they do need a bit of damage. And then the Lucian, who's going to be hyper-carrying in the late stages.
Yeah, now King looking to round out their lineup, thinking about more teamfight power with the Vladimir and the Orianna hovers. We'll see what they end up deciding on. But going back to RNG, this does mean that Sky is going to be taking the Fizz into the top lane. Looks like the Smite Teleport Fizz making a massive surge into the LPL here, and it is going to be the Orianna for Korn. Of course, Korn playing a heck of a lot of Orianna when Starhorn Royal Club were making their way through Worlds a little while back. But we'll see how it's going to work out. Of course, two very utility-based mid laners. Might just be a farm fest there in the mid, but we'll see what Huey can do as far as getting some early pressure on this map is concerned with this Lee Sin, because we've seen Lee Sin fall out of favor just a little bit just because he doesn't offer all that much in the late stages of the game.
Well, we've seen since the later metas, the later patches, with all the changes in items and champions, he started to get phased out a fair bit, and it's going to be very difficult for him to have that massive impact. But we'll see how he goes, and there is the possibility, because Lee Sin's still very strong.
He most certainly is. And Sky there, of course, first game in the LPL here for this season on the Fizz into the Gnar. MLXG taking the high priority Gragas against Lee Sin. Of course, Gragas, sometimes known as good Lee Sin to certain spawns here on the caster desk. Xiaohu into Korn. Going to be the Lulu into Orianna. Not exactly the most interactive matchup there as Lucian into Sivir. This one's going to be fair bit of action. Both of these are sort of short-range AD carries, and we'll see whether they are going to straight up lane against one another, because that'll be exciting to see as Liam into Sync Dream here. Janna versus Alistair, and it's a bit like engage into disengage.
Yeah, it's exactly what that is. The Alistar wanting to be aggressive, the Janna looking to just throw down the shield and let the Lucian do all of the work.
Yeah, and I guess as an Alistair, you've got the headbutt for a little bit of disengage as well. You've got sustain in the Triumphant Roar, so not exactly all in, not necessarily like a Leona or something like that who's not going to offer too much else. So we'll see exactly how this one's going to work out as we hop onto the Rift. But I like how the team fight's looking for King, because of course you've got the massive Gnar. You can then place the ball on top of the entire enemy team, assuming you manage to get a few people in that one. And it can be the Corn and Cola show potentially this game round.
Yeah, not necessarily ball delivery. You've got maybe the Lee Sin in that respect, but you've got a lot of stuff that can at least allow you to be in a forward position to put the ball down.
Yeah.
And their team fighting will be very strong. They've got the Gnar. The Lee Sin can initiate, does start to drop off in team fights unless the kid hits multiple people. But then you've got the Alistar who can pretty much just press the ultimate and be so tanky that it makes up for what Lee Sin drops off in a little bit later in the game for team fighting.
Yeah, it's true. But ladies and gentlemen, let's see how it goes as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, into a pause, ladies and gentlemen, as RNG and King are making sure that they sort everything out. You can see already Xiaohu taking a little bit of damage. You can see Corn on your screen just there, having a chat to his team. See how this one's going to work out. Very close MLXG right there. My goodness. Hello, friend.
Closer.
Yeah. Just making sure that he has his glasses on in the right position. Excellent. I think we've got it. We've got it nailed. As a glasses wearer yourself, how do you think he's doing?
I think they're sitting fine.
Brilliant. Excellent. That's about all we got right now for MLXG. But look, we'll see how it works out. Of course, this game, definitely more on the line for King, because they really need to pick up a victory somewhere.
Definitely. They need something to get the ball rolling for them. And they've got the makings of this really great team that just hasn't found their stride just yet. 0-4 so far. They need one win to make them feel maybe better about themselves, find a style even that suits them more so. Without having Insec available, he was doing a lot of the initiating for them. And now that he's out the door, they need to find this new way of playing or rely on the jungler to get used to playing like Insec was. We'll see what they actually decide to adapt to, but being 4 games in, they've started to find a style. They need to develop it further and become really strong at that.
Well, pause is over. We are into the game, ladies and gentlemen. And Huey on your screen right there. He's who we're talking about. We'll see whether he can do his best Insec impression this game around. Huey, known for being relatively aggressive in the early stages of the game, so see whether he can get that one working out. King, very aggressive movements around this map. Probably just wanting to get some deep vision down on the map.
They already had the deep vision there. They don't have many wards left to place, so I guess they're just in a very aggressive position, waiting to find someone out of position. They spotted that ward going down, so they know that there's a ward on the red buff.
Oh, they're looking to catch Whoosh and Liam.
They've been spotted by the ward. Orianna walked out.
Oh. So it's going to be the red buff start here for King. Here we're going to steal that one away to the best of his ability. Some vertical jungling going to ensue from that point. Is going to mean that RNG aren't going to go for that Krug start. Whoosh, nice damage there onto Name as he did face check that brush, and Eye of the Storm really helping out there as well. Oh my goodness, lots of damage from this Lucian. And King, they really need to hit the level 2 before they really have the burst damage here. Of course, Name probably wants to pick up the Ricochet as a very nice piercing light does come down onto the Sivir.
Well, Alistar started heal, and Sivir started with the bouncing.
Yeah, the Ricochet,
attack. So they have no capabilities of actually fighting at all until level 2. And even then, Alistar won't have the combo as he's going to get very low doing this red buff.
Yeah, thankfully did have the smite, but you're exactly right. MLXG playing with fire just a little bit, but Huey is heading over to this red buff. Oh my goodness, Name almost falling as a piercing light, just a little bit short there. And Whoosh and Lei, pressure is on here on the bottom side of the map. And we said that this was going to be a point where a lot of the aggression would be coming out, and already it's proven true as there's the aggressive level 2 movements here from Whoosh. Does have that relentless pursuit, can get himself into the face of Name, and 10 CS behind here at the very early stages. But Whoosh missed a cannon creep, so bad news bears.
Evens it out from moral victories. We'll see if they actually get the cannon creep themselves. They just warded and spotted Huey as well, so can't pull the trigger just there. But the level 2 has come out. That's not going to help them a whole lot. They don't have the pot available. The CS difference is already growing, and Whoosh is putting down all of this pressure that can't actually be answered because of the Janna shield. The fact they leveled the spells they did at level 1 is...
Oh, there's the Flash Pulverize though. Whoosh, they want to get the headbutt onto him, but wasn't able to get it off. That Howling Gale was wonderful as Huey has to safeguard up to that. The heal is going to come through as Whoosh very, very low on mana. Lei gets caught, but that Boomerang not actually going to find Whoosh somehow there. Name not really doing enough damage, and the bottom lane of RNG is going to be forced back. Name able to get some very much needed farm.
He's going to be able to get the farm, so the pressure was in the right place, but given that they didn't have the headbutt available, no level 3 because of the denied experience
Hey,
as
that's
well.
so true. I actually assumed that when Sync Dream was hitting level 2, that means he has the headbutt pulverize combo.
Yeah, and instead he just flashed and used the pulverize, didn't actually have the headbutt because he started with a heal at level 1, so potentially a kill gone to waste there.
Yeah, not quite able to pick that one up. Of course, they would have been very, very low without the Triumphant Roar that was doing some work over the period of time in the lane where they were trying to just heal back up. But Whoosh and Lei actually deciding not to head back to base as this lane was shoved in. Name taking some damage from Lei as the Janna getting very aggressive. Xiaohu continuing his ways as the Xiaohu Lulu, very aggressive in this mid lane and able to farm himself out a bit of a CS advantage.
Yeah, no real surprise that all they're trying to do in the mid lane at the moment is farm. Both playing control mages with not an exceptional amount of damage until they start getting items, and even then, particularly the Lulu, doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so it's all about controlling the waves. And based off that alone, Xiaohu doing very well in the mid.
Yeah, and I like where Whoosh is positioning himself in this lane as well, making sure he's staying as far up as possible, putting as much pressure on Name as he can in this laning phase.
And he's got the level advantage, and you can see that Boomerang fully hitting him, not actually doing a whole lot of damage. So
Whoa.
In a very comfortable position, to say the least, is Whoosh and Liam in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Whoosh and Lei have been playing together for a very long time, and you can see right there, Whoosh just knowing that the Eye of the Storm was available, knowing that he could go a little bit more aggressive. Huey down here in the bottom lane again, as King are really focusing in on it. Does seem that it's okay, though, because the rest of the lane's not exactly suffering. Nice spell shield from Name. Going to get him some mana back, as Huey going to take some damage from MLXG. The Gragas, the Fat Man, doing some work here on this map. There's the Sonic Wave, though, as he flashes forward for Lei. There's the first blood. Huey might die for it, though. There's the passive to come through here as Name. He might be in trouble. MLXG is going to lock down that kill. Whoosh flashing out of the way, and Sync Dream completely out of mana. Has to be careful. RNG answering with 2 kills of their own after first blood going over to Huey.
The dangerous game mastery actually giving Whoosh some health back right there. Almost the difference between him living and dying. Very hard to say, but a gank coming out from Lee Sin, caught by the Gragas, but hitting the amazing Q, the resonating strike actually on the right target, making a kill from it. They do well to make the trade, but still, Gragas, you said the better version of Lee Sin. I'm seeing it right there.
Yeah, well, it's sort of hard demonstrated right there. You can see double the CS now for Whoosh. There's the Shockwave in the mid lane. Xiaohu holding on to the Wild Growth Corn, completely out of mana. Probably just wanted to be able to back away because he's not going to offer too much more here. And Xiaohu able to put on some pressure, and he's relatively safe now with the ult.
Yeah, it's safe to say that he's looking to get out. They've got a lot of pings going down on where the Lee Sin actually is directly, so the kill pressure in mid probably not going to happen. And Korn being out of mana, he's going to just try and use that ult to wave clear, maybe put some damage onto the Lulu so he can't push as hard because of the kill threat.
True.
And then just recall.
Now you can see Sky, he's actually decided to go straight for this Trinity Force. The last time we saw this top lane Fizz coming through from Zatai, it was in fact going for the Cinderhulk, then into the Frozen Heart, making sure that he has the Lucidity Boots as well for 40% CDR. But this time looks like a straight up Trinity Force.
Yeah, he's opting, well at this stage it could still be the Black Cleaver. Yep. I don't want to discredit it too early because I'd like to see how a Black Cleaver would work on a Fizz, even though it doesn't really do physical damage. It just gives health and CDR, which is great for Fizz. The stats, maybe not the passive.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the passive does work because he does do auto attacks, but the rest of everything that Fizz does gonna be magic.
Yeah, and then the fact that he's gone for the Phage, though, it doesn't often go from the Phage to anything else most of the time anyway. They tend to go the tanky stats directly after the Phage. And the fact that he's got a Smite, he had a Smite, right?
Yep.
Why is he going for the Phage first, not the jungle item?
Look, well, we'll have to find out. Probably just wanted to be able to duck around the skirmishes there in the top lane. But look, the Rage passive's fantastic. We'll see whether he can make that one work. We are going to hop back onto the Rift, though, as the pause is going to dissipate. And Whoosh back in the lane, but now the BF sword into the pickaxe of Name. RNG able to make things work here on the bottom side. And you can see Whoosh already asserting dominance, but the boomerang's starting to hurt.
They are starting to hurt. You can see that once Sivir hits that level 5 spike, the Q damage is actually quite high. And it does have to be without minions being in the way. So very aggressive style that Whoosh is using at the moment is working quite well to Sivir being able to at least turn it around and do some poke damage. The spell shield will have to be on point, but the level between them right now, level 6 on the Lucian, the pressure will start to come down and continue to come down rather, because it has been since the start of the game.
Yeah, and a 20 CS advantage still here on the bottom side of the map as Whoosh presses this one forward. Nice piercing light. He's going to do some extra damage to Name there, but Whoosh, and there's the headbutt pulverize combo. The boomerang comes through as well. The flash from Sync Dream. Name locks down the kill, and Lei, he's going to have to run away. Name just trying to chase him out there, but Whoosh just a little bit too aggressively positioned.
That's it. He's been playing like that since the start of the laning phase and felt like he had a lead, and that's because he does. He has the BF sword to the pickaxe. But the aggression and the base damage that comes out of the Sivir with the Alistar, flashing on top of him, straight after using the headbutt pulverize combo, the Ignite's gone down, everything straight away, and the boomerang hit nothing before the Lucian and bounced twice.
Yeah, and MLXG was looking for something in the top lane, but that's going to mean Dragon here for King, starting to push their advantage forward. 300 gold is the lead at the moment for RNG, but a 9.5-minute Dragon here for King.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good early Dragon. The pressure, the pings came down. They know that Gragas is there. So there is a lot of counter pressure in the top lane if they want to push the turret, but it's going to be so hard for them to do unless they get a kill on Nicola, because you're a Gragas and a Fizz and you don't really have a lot of siege.
No, not a whole lot. Of course, the range not necessarily there, but Sky is going to be able to shove this one out. Cola very low on the rage bar, but RNG just going to make sure that he can't pick up any of this experience. Name, though, in trouble, uses the heal, is going to survive. Actually keeps the flash there as well, but Whoosh, very angry about falling down in the bottom lane, is going to make sure that Sivir is punished for that.
Yeah, he's not very happy about what happened just beforehand. Picking up the boots as well with the BF sword, looking to continue the pressure, knowing that now the heal is down as well. He's got an advantage from raw items because there's pretty much no summoners across the board besides all of Janna's, who has the Ignite still, and there's just the flash left on Name. So more confident, much more confident in what he's doing right now.
Yeah, Name, of course, still there, sitting on half health as Lei thinking of coming around. Howling Gale just whistles by as there's a nice headbutt pulverize onto both bottom lane members. Eye of the Storm comes through, Name taking some damage back there. Sync Dream very tanky at this stage of the game.
He's massive.
Yeah, MLXG looking to move around here as well, but he's going to be spotted out, or at least considered to be there by King, because they want nothing of it. The lane has been pushed out as Huey. You might find MLXG here does have a level advantage now as well, as a nice body slam comes through. We might need to be careful. It is going to be Cinderhulk versus Cinderhulk, but here comes Sync Dream. Level 7, Name as well, able to get a lot of damage back down. There's the explosive cast. Huey taking the damage here as well, flashing out of the way. Whoosh picks that one up quite easily. The fish, though, because it teleports here from Sky as Cola trying to get some work done as well. Piercing Light not going to land on a Sync Dream, whose Unbreakable Will is down now as well. The Hyperprocs going off on a Sky, only down to about 300 health. But Korn, what is going on? You are most definitely going to fall as... Oh, the last auto attack, not enough! RNG, some miscalculation.
The barrier and the command protect enough to save the Orianna, just barely there. The rotations, the teleports came out pretty much the same time, but Fizz has the ultimate available, whereas Cola was just the Mininar trying to ramp it up.
Yeah.
You can see that was the big difference, though, between how that fight panned out.
Yeah, Sky still able to wave clear fairly effectively, just with some extra levels in the Playful Trickster. You can see now has the Skirmisher's Saber in his back pocket as well. So he's at least going to be able to use that Smite in a team fight just to make sure he can get some extra damage down. Make sure that the AD carry or whoever he targets with that spell is going to be doing as little as possible. And Cola has made his way back to this lane. But as far as where these teams spike in damage, is there one side that's going to be looking for more fights early rather than late, or are both of these teams sort of looking to scale through? Because I have to say that, you know, having a Lee Sin on a lineup, always a dangerous thing when you're looking towards the late game.
Yeah, Lee Sin not known for how well he scales into the later stages, as Name's copping some serious pressure now.
Yeah. Whoosh just going to take a cheeky turret shot as well, as he puts on as much pressure as he can.
But yeah, no, the scaling is going to be you look at the side of King and you think their scaling is a little bit questionable, almost solely on the back of the Lee Sin being there. But if he builds full tank, then he's quite capable of being relevant in the late game. The kick just has to work onto the right targets. But you look at the side of RNG, they've got a little bit less damage almost, I would say. Sky's going to be going fairly tanky, unless he does opt into the damage, which is what I think he should do, because Lulu's not known for dealing tons of damage out at all. And then you've got the Lucian, who does lots late game, but they're fighting.
They most certainly are, as Lay's going to get caught by that Sonic Wave. There's the kickback as well into the wall, but the heal's going to save Lay's life. MLXG wants to try and get aggressive. The barrel's down. Whoosh going to lock down the kill. Explosive cast just delivers it to Whoosh for the double. They're looking for Sync Dream, but Unbreakable Will is there. That will save the cow's life, but Xiaohu wants to try and pick it up if he can. MLXG tanking up the turret, and this is going to be another outer turret falling over here for RNG, and Whoosh, I mean, he's playing overly aggressive, yeah, but it's working out in a lot of these cases. Yeah,
Hui is trying really hard to get these ganks off, and he knows it has to be on the bot lane, because it feels like that's where all the pressure is coming down onto the side of King. Name is doing really, really rough at the moment. 82 to 114 in the CS department, and then 4 to 1 now in kills. So MLXG is very aware of the fact that Hui wants to be in the bot lane.
Yep.
And he's just coming bot lane as well and counter ganking perfectly. And you can see silver platter of kills right there being delivered to the side of RNG for this Lucian. Yeah, and MLXG just looks so much more comfortable on Gragas than he ever has as well. I mean, he's had his good games, but that explosive cast delivery system there on Name just showing that he just has so much comfort here on this champion, and it's great to see. I mean, we were talking about MLXG as a little bit of a sort of one-trick pony. He was fantastic on the Nidalee moving through, and then he moved over to the Rek'Sai being his fantastic champ, and now it looks like Gragas really taking over. And look, it's great to see out of MLXG. This guy's really ramping up. Sky now has the Cinder Hulk as well completed there in the top lane for his Fizz, and the transition of the bottom lane up there just to make sure that the last outer turret is going to fall over. Yeah, they've actually got a lot of item spikes, not just the Cinder Hulk here for the Fizz. They've got the Cinder Hulk finished on Gragas. They've got the Athenes and Boots too on the Lulu, so a lot of CDR right now. CDR. That's rushing that CDR as soon as possible to teamfight. They've got Lucian, Boots 2 finished, Berserker Greaves and Infinity Edge. And Janna doesn't need items, she just needs to press the shield button. Yep. So they've got all of these big items coming out right now. There's a good time for them to group if they chose to, especially because of the item discrepancy between the two teams. Yeah, and you can see Whoosh just moving around, picking up every bit of farm that he possibly can, and it's in perfect time for the Dragon. They're going to have all of the lanes pushed up, apart from possibly that bottom lane, but Sky is going to be there in order to get that one going, as Whoosh and Xiaohu are going to start off this Dragon. Eye of the Storm, the Whimsy Shield's there as well. They're not going to be losing any health, and MLXG makes his way in. This is going to be an easy first Dragon for RNG. Second of the whole game, but that's going to be evening that one out. 6% stats for everyone. Yeah, on the back of the item spikes that we just spoke about, there was a perfect time for them to do the Dragon, or for the Dragon to even be available to be done. So they picked that one up, the second Dragon, and now they might want to translate that. Extra stats, not a massive deal, but they've got the power still in their hands, so you can see the rotations coming out pretty much across the board. The Lucian now near the top side. They might want to swap that up and put some pressure up there. You've seen Fizz in the bot a fair bit, has the teleport available. They're going to start making plays and start doing these big rotations to get them a lead from what they already have, which is about 4,000. Yeah, and Sky actually, I like Ninja Tabi and Fizz because those auto attacks are going to begin not really doing a whole lot because, of course, passive is going to give him a little bit less auto attack damage. So auto attacking this Fizz not going to be doing a whole lot at all as the Ninja Tabi is stacking alongside that one. So Name might want to look at hitting a different target, but Sky is going to sort of not have the level of CDR that we've seen from other top lane Fizzes who decide to go with the Frozen Heart, with the Lucidity Boots for that easy 40% CDR and 2 items. Yeah, well, the Frozen Heart is still a very real possibility as the next item, but as for spike timings with the rest of his team, we can see Lulu rushing the CDR opposed to the Fizz, who's going for more tanky stats to get themselves ahead in teamfights just by being so tanky. So I guess in the same respect as the Lulu rushing that CDR, the Fizz is rushing combat stats to fight sooner. Yeah, Sky actually not going to be able to pick up the Gromp. A little bit unfortunate there, smited a little bit early, but did still get the buff, and that's the important part. Kohler now switching over to the bottom lane as well, as the Rift Scuttler going to fall down. Baron buff is going to be warded up there by RNG. Xiaohu going to find himself a pink ward as Korn's going to come through and try and defend that one out. Nice amount of shields here from both Xiaohu and Lei. And gone. Shields everywhere right now on these teams.
Yeah, it's hard to know when they're losing health, when they're losing shield, what's going on, whose shields, whose.
Spell shield, health shields, tower shields.
Yeah, we need a Morgana in this game, make sure it's as confusing as possible. Where's the Hex Drinkers, boys and girls?
Let's not, actually.
Yeah, Kohler actually might be in a little bit of trouble here as Sky going very aggressive onto the Gnar, really asserting his dominance here on the bottom side. And this is frightening when Sky has this much of an advantage and Kohler can't split push against him. We'll see whether King are going to be able to make anything happen because, look, that Fizz, they're going to have to deal with it some way or another.
Yeah, that's right. They need to do something about this Fizz, and if the pressure continues the way it is, Sky's able to control the wave, control the lane, and so far up that he can just rotate. But King,
oh, there's a headbutt pulverized. Whoosh is going to have to try and get out of there. Does use the E, but the kick not going to get back into the team as Huey now tries to get out of there. So much damage. Xiaohu locks down the call. The hula hoop in the middle of everything, doing nothing at all. Name now in trouble. A three-man knock-up against Sync Dream, doing as much work as he can, but Whoosh just going to kill Name with it. He's going to sacrifice himself in the end, and Sky probably needs to get out of there. The Playful Tricks are going to help out on that one, but that's a 2-for-1 so far. But RNG, they've got control of this turret.
They managed to come out ahead in the fight, given that it was King initiating. They just didn't initiate the right way. So unfortunate, the Lee Sin kick didn't go in the right direction. And on the back of that, the explosive cask again. MLXG responding to everything that this Lee Sin does and doing it in better fashion. Turns the fight around completely, and they make it a fight that comes out ahead for them, when really they were initiated on a very bad position.
Yeah, and there's so much rotational play going on in this game. 100% kill participation for the jungler, AD carry, and support on the side of RNG. They're making things happen from this bottom side of the map, and I'm liking how it's working here. I mean, Sync Dream, to his credit, has had some fantastic sets of CC and opening up abilities here for King to do some work, and let's have a look at it again.
So this Lee Sin kick was what started it all, and unfortunately, kicking the Lucian away, the Fizz Fish had already hit. The Gnar was massive, and that's what turned it around, but then Korn unfortunately missing the shockwave again. Two big ultimates not hitting the targets on the back of what Kohler and Sync Dream did there, which was massive. You can see Whoosh going big just to make a trade. Fizz managing to get out in the end there.
Yeah, Whoosh now going to be able to clear out some vision as well. 7-3 in the kills, and that is going to extend the gold lead to about 6,000. And at 20 minutes into the game, that is relatively large here for RNG. Both of these sides, we've mentioned it before, very eager to pick up some victories. RNG only picking up one thus far. And now wanting to make it their second. Whoosh moving down towards the bottom side. Huge creep wave there. Does have the red buff as well in his back pocket. 10 CS lead for Sky there on the top side of the map. 5 for Xiaohu. And Xiaohu's been relatively quiet this game. It's oftentimes when we saw Ganti play, now when we're seeing RNG play, it's a lot about what Xiaohu can get done. But this time around, just farming it out, making sure that he's the Lulu in the late game, but it's been the bottom side of the map and the jungler here for RNG. Yeah,
the bottom side have had pressure since the start of the game, and on the back of MLXG making these massive plays has really enabled the rest of the team. You said 100% kill participation from all of the bot lane and the jungler. You can see how their rotations and their impact on this game are giving them such a big lead, and with the Dragon up in 30 seconds, it's on the perfect side of the map for them.
Yeah, and they're getting the vision down here as well, clearing it out. They've got 3 pink wards exactly around this bottom riverside area. Xiaohu just clearing out waves over and over again. Almost has that Rabbidan's Death Cap as well. And when you've got Rabbidan's Death Cap and the Athenes plus Lucidity Boots, I mean, you've got 40% CDR and everything's doing a whole lot more as well with the ability power that you're going to have in your back pocket. So 840 gold, Xiaohu looking for that spike in utility and damage.
Yeah, once he gets that death cap, he's going to be in a much better position. You compare that to just the blasting one here from Korn. Really, really getting behind in items and starting to feel it from every member of the side of King at the moment. This next Dragon, it's going to go to RNG again.
Yeah, MLXG easily picking that one up. Not even using the smite. Saying, cool guys, don't smite dragons when you don't need to. Huey going to trade that for his own Raptor camp, so not exactly the best trade there coming through for King, and Whoosh pushing up the bottom lane. Center turret might be under siege relatively soon. MLXG going to turn up too. And the bottom lane for King going to do their very best to try and stop this assault on the turret.
Even the static Shiv, by the way, on this Lucian, just a sign of the wave clear that they really want to have at the moment. They've got Lulu and then the Lucian. Their wave clear is going to be amazing coming into these siege stages where they're trying to find themselves with a better lead position. And Sky and Cola, it's been pretty hard for this Gnar at the moment.
Yeah, Cola's been trying to get work done, but just never has the Mega Gnar at the right times, isn't able to split push effectively against the Fizz, just hasn't found his way into this game just yet.
Yeah, 0, 0, and 1 has the Randuin's Ninja Tabi and the Spectre's Cow with the Doran's Blade. So has all of the tanky items, hasn't opted towards a Phage, but you can see the combat stats from Sky in response, the Sheen and Phage going for that Trinity Force. The difference is starting to scale out of the hands of Cola at the moment and into Sky's favor.
Yeah, and is it sort of a little bit of a mistake here from Cola not building any of the laning items, just going straight for the teamfight Gnar build?
Yes and no. It's very hard for you, once you've passed that team fighting up from that early laning stage, to actually deal with the Fizz. The Fizz, we've seen the trades coming out in favor of Sky quite early in this game. Even from the Phage pickup, funnily enough, was going in favor of Sky. So Cola could have responded with a damage item like a Phage, would have given a bit better laning. But his laning's already great once you're the Gnar into the Fizz matchup, just because of the raw spell matchup that you have.
Yeah, so he's sort of seeding that one just a little bit, making sure that he can be as relevant as he can in the late game. Trinity Force now completed by Sky, though. He's going to possibly go for full tank after that. We'll see what he does decide to go with. Did see some Blade of the Ruined Kings on the Fizzes a little bit, but may not be exactly what he's going to be picking up this time around. Hasn't been what we've been seeing recently, but Sky, of course, first time we've seen him on this Fizz, may have some different ideas on how it's played. As RNG just going to continue clearing out vision and stealing away buffs. Another one going to be going down here as MLXG going to lock down this blue buff. Might even just hand it over to Xiaohu because they're that comfortable in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, they don't need to take the buff on the jungle. They don't need the smite for it at all. Just push the opposition team out. And from this stage on the side of RNG, they're just looking to stack damage and most likely armor. They can forego the fact that Korn has a lot of farm, but his items are really far behind. And the damage that he's doing right now is essentially negligible. So you stack armor against what is the majority of King's side. You've got Gnar, Lee Sin, and the Sivir, compared to the Orianna by herself doing the magic damage and not really doing much of it. Stack that armor, probably get the Frozen Heart next on the Fizz, in fact. Maybe even the Frozen Heart's going to be done soon on the Gragas as well. And from that stage, it'll be a lot easier for you to dive because you've got armor. Yeah, and then you're also going to be doing a lot, or taking a lot less damage from the side of King. So it's almost like a 30-minute time bomb almost. Once it hits 30 minutes in this game and they start to get that armor stacked on, it's going to be very hard for King to answer.
Yeah, and RNG, again, continuing to clear out the enemy jungle. The red buff now going to follow Sky, picks that one up late, clearing out vision once more. So MLXG going to lock down the last hit on that. The Raptor camp even going down for good measure here as well. And RNG look unstoppable. Look at all of the vision that they have throughout the top side of the jungle here. They've got a pink ward on the Baron King, sort of floundering, and it's looking very similar to their other games, not knowing precisely what they want to be doing. And it's an 8,000 gold lead here for RNG, and it's not looking like it's ever going to slow up.
That's right. It doesn't look like it's going to slow up. And Sync Dream might have been, never mind, he's just going to ult and walk away. It does look like they don't have a purpose right now.
No, they
feel clueless, almost like they don't have a direction. They need to find something to do, and even if it works out badly for you, they're still better off committing. Yeah,
the heal's going to be popped here. There's the shockwave. Whoosh going to fall down, but Name looked like he probably had that under control anyway. Lei going to flash away here as well. The flash forward from Name into the double kill. And might have been Whoosh and Lei once again being a little bit overly aggressive.
And speaking of committing, almost as if on cue, Name has committed to the 1v1. They managed to get the Orianna Shockwave to secure the kill, and they get a trade. If they were doing this earlier, perhaps, I guess the item discrepancy has been a big factor in why they couldn't have. The Static Shiv against the Phantom Dancer and the Pickaxe starting to do a little bit more damage for Name just because of the base damage and being able to spell shield what is a lot of damage that Lucian can deal.
Lucian was also sitting on 2.4k.
Yeah, it would have probably helped. I think he just finished the entire last Whisper from that. So maybe 1v1ing not as easy from here on out. But either way, they pulled the trigger on something. They made a commitment to a move, to a rotation, to a play that'll, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But you're already 7,000 gold behind. And if you're sitting in your base while you're losing everything in your jungle, control of every objective on the map, even minions that you're not getting starved from, you're better off doing that and having it not go in your favor. But in this case, it did go in their favor, so well done to Name.
Yeah, and they did manage to get the outer turret in the mid lane off the back of it as well, so King sort of breaking down that gold lead just a little bit here, as it is now at 7,000 as opposed to the 8 as it was before. So pulling back by about 1,000 gold, as 20 seconds until the next dragon is going to be up. Will possibly be the third here for RNG, unless King are going to be able to stop that one from happening. But all of the vision available for RNG, 10 seconds on the clock, and King still looking like they're floundering.
Yeah, they know the dragon is up soon. I'm not sure if they have the exact timer of it, because they have been starved away from this entire area of the map for about 6 to 10 minutes almost. Gragas solo taking the last one. They're grouping up and they're trying to find things to do, but the side of RNG are too far ahead with their map knowledge and rotation speeds that King are looking for things to do, but not really finding it.
Yeah, they're trying to find a red buff now, and that's not going to be there. They have watered out the top side of their map as well, so got some vision for themselves, but not really meaning too much here, as RNG pulling ahead once again. Pink ward's now around, and you can see RNG looks like the Baron is going to be the next option, and there's not going to be a whole lot that King can do. We'll see whether they can get into the right positions. Of course, you can see Cola not with a whole lot of rage bar here for this Nara. Sky's making his way around, but half of the health now on the Baron, as MLXG just getting a whole lot of shields so that he can tank this up as much as possible. There's the flash into the pulverized whoosh, not it getting over the wall, and he's still going to be safe there in the backline as Name pops the ultimate, but mostly for disengage here as Ardent Blaze is heading over as well. The fish down onto Cola. It is going to be Sync Dream falling down as the first one, but Name has to deal with Sky, who just destroys him. Xiaohu there as well, going to take down Huey. 3-man shockwave in the backline, but the house is going to hit as well, but King, they just don't have the damage. The Nara into the wall as an afterthought, but RNG, they don't lose anyone, and Korn the last man standing for King.
Sky and Whoosh just doing so much damage at the moment, and the item difference is so big. You can see the Shockwave even hitting 3 targets at the end of that fight. Not going to be enough. Orianna able to shield, but Name got wrecked by MLXG at the start of that fight, knocking him around everywhere before it even really broke out. All of the side of RNG doing so much damage just because the level advantage, the item advantage, and the control they have forcing King into bad positions, working so well for them. And they managed to get the Baron, a turret, and it's going to get even harder than it once was for King.
Yeah, the empowered recalls are going to be coming out now. A whole lot of item buys as the BF sword now for Whoosh, almost the 4-item Lucian, which is such a terrifying thought. We'll almost have the Bloodthirster before Name even has his last Whisper for his 3rd item. So Whoosh is huge. 1-0-10 for MLXG though. MVP, I'm giving it to him right now, because this guy, 100% kill participation, hasn't died, made sure that he's secured the Barons. There's a Luden's Echo now on Xiaohu as well, who's 2-0-4. Of course, a mortal performance, but just hasn't necessarily been there for as much as what MLXG has been doing. And you mentioned it before. You said that this game is going to be won or lost on the back of MLXG, and it looks like it's going to be winning it this time around.
Well, the impact that he's having right now is just unmatched, right? He's absolutely absurd. His timings, where he's at the right place at the right time, completely counter-ganking what Huey can do. From the start of this game, he did it bot lane twice almost, and every single time a fight has broken out, he's been on the right target. And it's funny that the tank has no deaths. You'd almost say he's not doing his job, but he's doing it perfectly. He doesn't need to die because he's so tanky.
Yeah, and you've seen MLXG on very low health quite often in this game as well. So you're right, it's not like he has sort of messed around. But I mean, the gold lead now at about 13,000 here, 11-5, as the kill score is there, and 6-2 in turrets. RNG just looking now to try and find their way into the base. They've shut out King from their whole jungle, now looking just to break down these Nexus turrets.
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult for King to be able to stop this. And look at Sky, you can tell how confident he feels. The Baron minion's so hard for them to take down at the moment.
Oh, that Glitter Lance tearing through Korn.
And even the Piercing Light.
Yeah, Whoosh able to really nail a whole lot of pretty tricky Piercing Lights as well off the back of some minions. Some cute maneuvers there as RNG just doing their very best to protect this Siege minion as it tries to take down this turret. Of course, they don't have a whole lot of Siege. Of course, Lucian being relatively low range, and there's a heck of a lot of wave clear on the side of King, so they might be able to hold this one off for a little while. We'll see how it's going to work. Baron buff going to be helping out the RNG squad as MLXG going very aggressive into the base here as Dissonance doing some damage. Ooh, just the tip of the boomerang onto MLXG means that he may not be able to go that far up again. Whoosh, he has the Bloodthirster, so that is a huge deal. Xiaohu able to get some cheeky auto attacks off, but you can see this tower, it is getting taken down ever so slowly.
Picked at piece by piece with every wave. Just one extra auto attack from the Lucian will put him that much closer to being able to take it. they're looking at Sivarolt.
Yeah, there's the On the Hunt being popped here. Singdream, couple of knockups there at the same time. His ultimate is going to be available. There's the shockwave onto Lei Xiaohu and Sky as Lei's going down very, very low. Korn gets hit up by the fish as Cola trying to get in amongst it for his ultimate. No Gnar to be coming out just yet as he does have the Mega Gnar form. Whoosh! Just destroys the turret and makes his way out. So they've broken the base. No one's died. But King, they hold on to at least their inhibitor.
They do keep the inhibitor, but that is a successful siege by the side of RNG. They get the turret in the end somehow from Lucian's random acts of manliness.
Yep. And random acts of manliness. That's beautiful.
Yeah, you don't really expect it. He's very good at it. And they do get the turret. No one dies for it, which is a great success given how the shockwave started that fight off and actually decimated them. So being able to keep their lives, Gragas' explosive cask actually hitting no one. So the disengage was really weird that it happened to work so successfully, but the Janna Monsoon is the big factor in that. It healed them all up straight back to full. Yeah,
the double displacement here coming through for RNG means that if MLXG doesn't happen to hit his explosive cast, they do have backup in that regard. 20 seconds until the 4th dragon for RNG is here, or possibly the 2nd for King if they can get a positional advantage. But right now, RNG look to be moving there, look to have control of the area.
We can see the death cap being done from Orianna and 3 big items now being finished for the Siva. Their carries are starting to have a lot of damage, and they are able and capable to kill the carries from RNG. Can they get onto the carries, though, is another question, because the Fizz is basically untargetable at all stages. He's got the Frozen Heart finished. He's got a lot of CDR now.
Yeah, and even now with the Spirit Visage as well, so sitting on 30% from items there on the CDR front. So going to be bouncing around fights quite a lot. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and then you've got the Lulu shields, you've got the Janna shields with the Mikhails as well. You've got the QSS on the Lucian. It's getting so hard to actually get onto the carries of RNG. And you've got the Orianna Shockwave, the Lee Sin kick, and it has to be comboed quite well on the back of a Sivir ult. But if the Sivir ult, it's almost like a sign of, well, let's just disengage with our amazing disengage comp.
Yeah, Whoosh did use the ultimate there as well. MLXG tanking up a bunch of damage as they're trying to get the last few auto attacks down on this inhibitor. King moving towards the top side, but the inhib's going to fall down. Sky continuing the pressure here on this split push Fizz. Very, very tanky like you were mentioning before. And RNG, they're going to move around and try and deal with what this Fizz has started.
Speaking of tanky, MLXG can just sit there and let the laser hit him for about 10 seconds and not lose a single tick of health.
Yeah, the flab soak.
Doesn't even tickle him.
No, not happening there.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's getting a back rub. The turret back rub, very, very cute. And Shockwave hasn't been used just yet. The turret is going to fall down. Boomerang's doing a little bit of work there as Singdream down to about half health. There's the Unbreakable Will. Are they going to be able to turn this one around as Sky going super aggressive? The fish not landing onto anyone as there's the Howling Gale sailing past. Boomerang doing some work. The flash from MLXG. There it is. Korn gets locked around. The double knock-up not going to do anything now as Cola trying to double gnar them back into anywhere other than where they are at the moment. Cola's going to fall down after Name fell as well. MLXG first death of the game to the fountain, but the Nexus is going to follow. Double kill for Xiaohu as these Nexus turrets are going to fall. And RNG, what a dominating performance. 17,000 gold the lead in the end. And the surrender vote is what's going to come out. King, their 5th loss here in the LPL.
Yeah, they're looking like they're having a very shaky start, but
MLXG, come on, look happy, dude.
Give
you
some
had a
emotion,
fantastic
man.
performance.
He played phenomenal. All of the ultimates except for one hitting at least 2 targets, doing the exact purpose of knocking Name towards the rest of his team. In the last fight, I think it was Korn got knocked towards them also. Amazing that the Gragas is getting onto the carries and at the right place, at the right time. Everyone from RNG looking very good.
Yeah, starting the right fights here as well, making sure that they're engaging at the right moments.